November 24, 2009. The Utah desert was calm and quiet. It was supposed to be a fun Thanksgiving adventure.
John Jones, a 26-year-old medical student and father, loved exploring caves. He had done this many times before.
Nutty Putty Cave, a popular spot for Boy Scouts and locals. But locals knew this cave was tricky. At 8 p.m., John and his group entered the darkness. It was the last time he would see the sky.
The first part of the cave was easy. Wide tunnels, slippery slides. The group was laughing and having fun.
John was leading the pack. He was looking for a challenge. He wanted to find a famous tight passage called the birth canal.
But caves are like mazes. One wrong turn and you are lost.
He saw a small opening. He thought it was the birth canal. He made a decision to push forward. It was a fatal mistake. This wasn't the birth canal. This was an unmapped area called Ed's Push. The tunnel started to shrink. The ceiling dropped. The walls closed in. He kept going, thinking it would open up on the other side. That's the golden rule of caving. Usually, it opens up. But this time, it didn't open up. He had to exhale all his air just to inch forward.
He saw a drop ahead, a vertical slit in the earth.
He thought if he slid down, he could turn around. So he let gravity take him.
And then he stopped. The tunnel didn't turn around. It just ended.
He tried to push back, but the walls were slick with clay. His arms were pinned.
He was trapped upside down in a space barely 18 inches wide. Like a hook.
His brother Josh found him. All he could see were John's boots.
Josh tried to pull him out. Tried to pull him. He pulled until his own muscles burned.
But John was stuck fast. The cave had swallowed him.
Josh had to make a terrible choice. Leave John alone in the dark to get help?
9 p.m. The call went out. Man stuck in Nutty Putty Cave.
Hi, John, I'm here. Hi, Susie, thanks for coming. But I really, really want to get out.
They tied a rope to his feet. Susie pulled. She pulled until her hands bled. But John didn't move an inch.
The tunnel curved like a fishhook. Pulling him straight back was only jamming him tighter against the roof.
They needed more power. Heavy drills. Metal anchors. They were going to build a machine inside the mountain.
A pulley system. It multiplies the pulling force. They thought this would be the miracle they needed. The command echoed in the cave. The ropes groaned under the weight. And then, a miracle. He started to move, inch by inch. The pressure lifted.
He was high enough to see the rescuer's eyes. John smiled. He said, "It sucks to be upside down."
They gave him water. They thought the worst was over. They were preparing for the final pull.
But the rock was soft. It couldn't hold the weight. Gravity took him back. John fell down the hole again. Deeper, wedged tighter than ever before.
Silence. The kind of silence that screams. The machine was broken. And John was gone.
John didn't speak anymore. His body couldn't take the shock. His heart was working too hard.
They tried to dig. They tried to drill. But they were exhausted.
Midnight passed. A doctor crawled in. He checked for a pulse. There was none.
27 hours after he entered, The rescue team walked out, alone.
The news broke the family's heart. John was gone.
The cave was too dangerous. To retrieve his body,
Others might die.
they made a difficult choice.
They decided to seal the cave. Nutty Putty would become his tomb.
They poured tons of concrete, sealing the entrance, closing the darkness forever.
John is still there today, resting in the place he loved exploring. The desert is quiet now, but the story of Nutty Putty Cave will never be forgotten. In the dark, time stops. John started to see things. He remembered the sun, the smell of grass, the life waiting for him above. But the rock has no mercy. The vision faded into gray.
Above ground, the world was watching. News vans arrived. The desert became a circus.
Reporters broadcasted the tragedy live. Can they get him out? The whole country asked.
John prayed, not for himself, but for his family to be okay. Rescuers worked in shifts. They crawled in brave. They crawled out broken. They gave their blood. Literally. Their hands were shredded by the ropes.
The tunnel wasn't straight. It was a jagged zipper. Pulling him broke his legs against the turns.
They tried to chip the rock away, but every hammer strike shook John's body with pain.
In the quiet moments, they were just two men, sharing a snack, talking about football.
The air was running out. Carbon dioxide was filling the bottom of the hole.
Stay with me, John. Don't sleep. If you sleep, you might not wake up.
A father waited for his son. The longest night of his life. They built a web of ropes. Physics was their only weapon against gravity.
The rock groaned. It was warning them. But they couldn't hear it over the drilling.
John! John!
When he fell back down, the radio went silent. The breathing stopped.
Arguments broke out! We have to try again! It's too dangerous!
Despair took over.
They had to say goodbye to a man they fought so hard to save.
The scream of a mother. It doesn't need sound to break your heart.
The machines came back, not to rescue, but to bury. They collapsed the roof. Nature took the cave back. Concrete is forever. It sealed the tomb airtight.
The desert is quiet again. The wind erased the footprints. John Jones remains there, in the eternal dark, a guardian of the cave.
The map shows the truth. John is 150 feet down, buried in the heart of the earth.
They didn't just fill it, they reinforced it with steel to make sure no one ever enters again.
They used explosives to collapse the ceiling near his body. Nature wrapped him in a stone blanket.
Wednesday, November 25th. The concrete poured. The Nutty Putty Cave ceased to exist.
It dried into a tomb, a permanent scar on the landscape. John left behind a wife, a daughter, and a baby on the way.
He never saw his son born.
Emily raised their children. They know their father was a hero, an explorer.
The site is forbidden now. A warning to anyone who underestimates the Earth.
The headlines faded. The news vans left. But the cavern remembers.
The caving community changed. Rules became stricter. We learned the hard way.
Respect the squeeze. If your head fits, it doesn't mean your body will.
Winter covers the seal. To a stranger, it's just a hill. To us, it's a monument.
We choose to remember the laughter, not the darkness.
Visitors leave flowers, balloons, small signs of love in the dust. From the sky, the tomb is small, but the story is massive. They say John finally found his way out, not through the rock, but through the spirit.
Rest in peace, John. You are not alone.
So next time you explore, check your gear. Tell someone where you are going.
The cave seduced many. It claimed only one.
His legacy lives on in his children. Life finds a way to continue.
The underground is a beautiful, dangerous world. Respect it.